Hello, my name is Alexis Darden, and this is video log number 3 for INFM625 at Mercer University. In this assignment, we were told to answer the following questions, and by reading The Concept of Disease, Structure, and Change by Paul Thacker. The Concept of Disease, Structure, and Change by Paul Thacker discusses conceptual changes that have taken place in the history of medicine and diseases. In this paper, disease concepts are presented in the eyes of various scientists and doctors from earlier years. The germ theory and the humoral theory are also presented in this paper. Pasteur and Lister, the two main developers of the germ theory, took a look at disease and fermentation to determine which was more important. Frank Castro wrote the very first important work on contagion, and Pasteur, Lister, and Koch, and others are responsible for the modern germ theory. Transition from the humoral theory to the germ theory is also discussed in this paper. Disease classification is mentioned, and over the course of reading the paper, the reader can see the various views of the physicians and scientists and their logic behind their thoughts. The paper begins with concepts around diseases are touched on. The paper then moves to mention about conceptual change. In this section about conceptual change, there's a table focused around the 9 degrees of conceptual change to include adding a new instance of a concept, adding a new weak rule, adding a new strong rule that plays a more frequent role in explanation and problem solving, adding a new part relation, adding a new kind relation, adding a new concept, collapsing part of a kind hierarchy, branch jumping, and tree switching. Moving on to the next section, the author tells about historical developments from Hippocrates and the humoral theory, Frank Castro and the contagion theory, and Pasteur, Lister, Koch, and the germ theory. We then take a look at the current disease theories, which focus more on the genetics, nutrition, immunological, metabolic, cytological causes of diseases. Moving on, the author focused on changes in disease concepts and germ concepts. The paper ends with mention of other types of representational accounts of conceptual change from Kuhn, Carey, Chi, Ginter, and Nersessian, and referential change. The cognitive mechanisms by which the concepts and hypotheses of the germ theory of disease were introduced are historical hypotheses and analyses, analogies, scientific reasoning, and formation of concepts. Cognitive mechanisms are used to maintain and process information. All persons in this paper utilize specific mechanisms to base their theories off of. Scientific reasoning was used as well as analogies between different theories. To understand why the germ theory was accepted as superior to the humoral theory, it's important to look at the facts of the two. The humoral theory focuses on the 4 humors of the body to include blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. These 4 humors of the body are attached to the 4 elements, which are air, earth, fire, and water, as well as the 4 qualities, which are hot, dry, cold, and moist. The theory behind this is that all 4 humors need to be at balance in order to be and stay healthy. The germ theory focuses on microorganisms in that they are the cause of diseases. Here is where germs, or seminaria, or seeds are mentioned. In relation to the germ theory, it is stated that these small germs can invade humans and animals. Pasteur and Lister made note in analyzing fermentation and disease that because fermentation was caused by bacteria and yeast, that microorganisms may cause diseases. The germ theory focused on the nature of germs as well as treatments for those diseases. Conceptual changes that were mentioned in the paper as well as new classifications are of new theory in relation to the humoral theory. The humoral theory and the germ theory are completely opposite, and the germ theory focuses more on facts and scientific reasoning, which is why I believe it was chosen as the better theory. Thank you.